Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good afternoon to all the viewers. I am Hiral Dadia. Overall, if you go to see in terms of a historic moment for India, you have Chandrayaan-3 landing, wherein ISRO has actually now shared the video of the rover ramping down on the moon as well. So, a lot of key takeaways that are coming up, a lot of visuals that we have been picking up as well so far, and key contributors that we have been talking to who have been in long-term partnerships with ISRO from the private sector space as well to help them achieve this. Joining us on the show today is Arun Ramchandani, Executive VP and Head Defense at L&T. Mr. Ramchandani, good afternoon and welcome to the show. And firstly, congratulations to you as well for a successful landing.
Thank you. It's a great day for the nation and pleasure to be here talking to you.
Likewise. The other question I have with you is how has the journey been with ISRO, specifically with Chandrayaan-3, taking into consideration you already have a long-term partnership?
So, Hiral, we've had I would say, a 5-decade-long partnership with ISRO. We are well entrenched as a partner for ISRO, as an industrial partner for ISRO. We helped them build their first launch vehicle, which Dr. Kalam headed the program. Since then, we've come a long way and we've been participating in all their new technology vehicles. On the LBM-3, which launched the moon lander, we had the solid boosters which were produced at our Powai and Coimbatore works. So these are the S200, as they are called, solid motors, the boosters which enable the liftoff of the spacecraft, and they involve a lot of precision engineering, which we at L&T have contributed to. Of course, on the launch vehicle, we had many other components, like the deck panel on which the rover is mounted, and other hardware that form part of it. We also were closely associated with the mission to the extent that the radars that we build are deployed at SHAR and they track the mission. We also built a deep space network antenna, which contributed to the communication in the mission.
Right. So, with all of this said and done, what is the quantum of the order or, the places where L&T actually participated within Chandrayaan-3 mission? What does that quantum look like?
So, with ISRO, it's a continual process. They keep having missions. You have the regular launch of the PSLVs. You have the Aditya mission coming up. You have the human space flight or the Gaganyaan mission coming up. And we have a constant order inflow for the launch vehicle hardware, which we constantly build. And, today we have orders of about active order book of about 500 crores in this segment alone with ISRO. And what is interesting is that moving forward, there is a thrust of private enterprise participating in space launch, providing launch services, etc. And currently, we are executing a contract with ISRO where for the first time you would have the launch conducted by the industry. So we are building a vehicle, the PSLV, in a consortium with Hindustan Aeronautics with about a 50-50 work share. And we are building all the solid motors of that vehicle. And this will be an industry-led launch for 5 PSLVs. This actually heralds in a new era in space launch systems. There is a lot of satellite building activity which is happening in the industry, and various ground stations and downstream activities which will build up as a consequence of this.
Right. So, currently, as you said, 500 crore is the existing order book that L&T Defense has with ISRO. Apart from that, what are the other orders that you already have in defense as an overall?
So, defense, of course, is a different scale with the thrust on indigenization and Atmanirbharta. Today, we have now order book north of 20,000 crores, which I hope at the end of the year will look at least 1.5 times that size. And we have large programs, whether they are on the land platform level, naval platform, shipbuilding, etc., and various kind of weapon systems which we are doing. So we have a healthy order book, and we see this growing in the aerospace and defense sector.
Right. Now, talking about ISRO itself, how do you see the partnership going forward? And what are the forthcoming programs that you will be participating in, which will be over and above the current order book of 500 crores?
So, as you are aware, we have the Gaganyaan program coming up, and of course, they will have the initial launches, which is without the crew, and then subsequently there will be the manned launch. We have on these missions, we have again our hardware in it. We are participating in the crew module, in the crew escape systems, and so on, and looking to increase our partnership with ISRO. Like I said, there are uh, private launch programs that we are looking at. We look forward to getting TOT from ISRO for the SSLV, which is the small satellite launch vehicle. And we see that there is a lot of thrust on launching small satellites into the low Earth orbit. We believe that this kind of a vehicle could be a workhorse for launching constellations of satellites into low Earth orbit. We want to build this system uh, as part of an industry built solution. ISRO would be the technology partner, and we would build it with the industry. We would carry out the launches, we would market the launch services, and that's the vision that we have for growth in the sector.
Okay. And overall, from let's break it down between India perspective and outside India. What are the kind of prospects that the Indian space sector has, and by how much do you think you will be able to boost your order book or the size of the business in the space sector, say in the next 3 to 5 years?
So we have a long-term perspective on this, and you know, uh, clearly with the success of this mission, and of course with ISRO's track record, we see that there would be interest from many other countries also. Of course, our launch vehicles are used by a lot of countries for launching their satellites, and like I said, I see lot of potential in the launch services business, which we expect to grow in a significant way in a horizon of 3 to 5 years.
So as you mentioned, yes, other countries as well, because the key aspect over here is that this is the first globally with regards to South Pole and the fourth country overall, right? And with this, it's at a third of the global average cost. So clearly, yes, the Make in India theme gets strengthened over here, and L&T does become a key beneficiary out of it as well. So how does it really open up the global rocket launch and satellite markets for Indian players like yours?
So the launch market, India has always been an attractive destination for the launch market. We've been competitive. Of course, there are emerging technologies like reusable launch vehicles, etc., coming in, which will drive down the costs of launch. But overall, with the reliability of our launch vehicles, the price competitiveness, we see healthy growth in this market.
Okay. And very lastly, what's the next milestone that L&T Defense has for the sector, maybe 3 years, 5 years? What's the key milestone that you would be watching out for?
So, L&T Defense has a large landscape. We have very exciting products in the land system domain. We are working on light tanks. We are working on futuristic infantry combat vehicles. We are working on self-propelled howitzers. And we see all of this scaling up into something of significant scale. We have a lot of programs going on in the shipbuilding. There are next generation warships coming up, and we see a lot of potential in that segment as well. Coming to submarines, we've just submitted our bids for the T-75I program, and we are quite confident that there will be potential in this segment as well. Aerospace is opening up, and we really have to look at how, as a private sector player, which today the government is encouraging participation of, we can leverage this and do a lot more. We have ideas on launch services, etc. So, in all these segments, the radar and air defense segment, we are seeing a lot of action. We are seeing contracts. So, across these segments, we see growth and we see very promising days coming up ahead.
Lots to watch out for as well from here on, and a momentous moment continues for all of us as well. Thank you, Mr. Ramchandani, for joining us on the show and giving us those views, and looking forward to speak to you soon again on other successful launches that could be lined up as well. So that's with regards to L&T Defense. Absolutely. So that's with L&T Defense, clearly giving us their journey with ISRO with regards to Chandrayaan-3 landing, and a good, safe landing that we have seen, the kind of participation that they have been looking at in future, in future as well as the forthcoming programs that could be lined up, and the kind of prospects we see for the private sector, not only in the Indian space sector, but also in the global market, because clearly at the cost at which we have done it would actually strengthen the Make in India theme as well. So a lot of prospects that open up for all the private players in the Indian space sector. That's all that we have on this session. Thanks for watching, and lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned to BQ Prime.